Hey everyone, it's True Crime Wifey. Can you guys hear me talking? Okay, that was a bit of a debacle. Just it is what it is. I'm not a professional YouTuber. My name is True Crime Wifey. I figured because I don't have an intro video, I would play the owls hooting and hollering. But I literally did that well, okay, I'm just going to say it was the third time because I never clicked start live in StreamYard when I thought I was live playing them. And then I went live playing them, but never shared the screen. Whatever. It is what it is. Okay. So I do want to show you guys, I'm sorry. I want you guys to listen to one more thing because this is what they sound like prior to getting crazy. Okay, that whole owl screechy craziness, I think it's mating season. They start with a hoo 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 in one area and then another area. There's a echo to the same hoo 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 hoo. And I recorded this prior. Let me share this. I recorded this one before I got them going a little nutty. And I say going a little nutty because that sounded like a horror show. It certainly did. Okay. Hello, it's True Crime Wifey. Thank you all for being here. Um oh, okay. It is what it is. Thank you, Mia. Thank you. I'm going to go back up. Armand and Fence, I see you. Thank you, Blue River. Thank you, Leslie B. Leslie B was the first one. Hey, Leslie. James is here. Mia is here. John Smith. I said Blue River, but I'll say you again. Blue River. Jolie. Always good to see you. Lila, Leela. Oh, I love the name Leela. That's so cute. Okay. So I titled this The Heat is On, right? Oop, it certainly is. Andrew, good to see you. I don't know. I don't know, Andrew. Okay, we are going to continue. I apologize for my neighbor's dog in the background. She was inside earlier. I believe we left off right before they took a break. Oh. I apologize. That's my neighbor's dog in the background. I'm trying to get queued up. I thought I was queued up. Oh, it's okay. I'm not worried. Wait, hang on. I think I fast forwarded it too much. It's okay. Because I always like to see Donna sit behind the defendant's desk. Yes, all my dogs and the owls can't stand the unindicted co-conspirator as well. Thank you. I agree. Okay, so I said the heat is on the other day, and I was like totally calling it the Pointer Sisters, which is so funny because I think it just gives that vibe. But honestly, when you listen to the song The Heat is On, no one would know that that was a man singing. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Just saying. But Leslie B did a short on The Heat is On, and I'm 100% behind that message. Okay, so I think I stopped last time when Jackie was starting to cross examine her. So I might move forward, but it's okay to revisit this one, this one right here. Okay, I apologize. I had it queued up to the wrong spot. Again. Hey, Armin Fence, good to see you. I had it queued up to the wrong spot. Again, everyone, this is True Crime Wifey. I am a normal person. I am not a professional YouTuber. I wish I would have put the timestamp, but we'll start rewatching Jackie. If you guys, okay, guys, remember, she did not return to Tallahassee, but still continued on the FSU payroll until December of 2014. I believe the documentation of her salary at the time, only teaching 4 hours a week as an associate, was $80,000 a year. They continued to pay her from July 21, 2014. Remember, that's when she left, until December of 2014. That kind of like burns me a little bit. Hang on. Can no one hear Wendy? Can you not hear Wendy? Am I muted or is Wendy muted? Oh, good gracious. Hang on. Oh, well, I mean, this is how my live streams go, just saying.
To the full extent of the law. Question, regardless of who it is, answer. I mean, it would be different if I thought it were my brother. Did you call your mom from the interview room at Tallahassee Police Department?
I did.
And did she answer the phone?
She did.
When she answered, did she advise you that your dad was in the shower?
Can you guys
I
hear
don't
her
remember
now?
whether my dad was in the shower.
You asked her to sit down. Do you remember that?
I do.
And by asking her to sit down, would that signify to her that this was going to be something serious you were going to reveal or say?
I was concerned about her age and if she were standing that she could, hurt herself if she fell down.
Okay. And do you
Okay, thank you guys. I don't know what happened. I had to refresh my sharing screen on StreamYard.
recall that she at that point asked if she could put you on speakerphone?
Jackie Fulford is about to come forth pretty soon.
I don't remember, but that sounds plausible.
What was the purpose of putting the phone on speaker, if you know?
I would be guessing, but so my dad could hear too?
But wasn't dad in the shower, or you don't remember that part?
I don't remember if my dad was in the shower.
Was anyone else there to your knowledge?
I don't think so.
Was Charlie there to your knowledge?
I don't think so.
Okay, guys. I mean, this is just to back up my theory, back up the things that I've said previously, the things that several of us have said. Why is Georgia asking if Harvey was in the shower?
Did you ask your mom in that telephone conversation to tell Charlie what was going on?
I think I did. I didn't want to make any more phone calls.
And your mom took the news pretty well, didn't she, this phone call?
I wouldn't say she took the news well. I think she was upset.
Did you say something different in your law enforcement interview after you got off the phone with her?
I don't think I did. I don't think I said something like that.
Didn't you say, page 265, line 5 through 6, quote, my mom handled that pretty well?
I may have said that. I can check it. Can you tell me the line again?
Yes, ma'am. Page 265, line 5 and 6.
I agree, Steph.
Yes, that's what I said.
And then page 280, line 22 and 23. Did you also say, well, my parents sounded really surprised, so that's at least a relief?
Yes, I see that here.
No further questions.
Here comes Jackie. Here comes Tom Petty. Okay, I want to say this real quick. I am not trying to offend anyone or be mean about anybody's appearance, because personally, I don't really care about anyone's appearance, but I will make fun of murderers, people who sleep with murderers, and also people who defend murderers. I will make fun of their appearance. And that's just on me. And yes, Jackie, compared to what she used to look like, she clearly looked like Tom Petty during this trial. Hey, Rebecca. Good to see you. I hope I'm not missing anyone. Hey, Bright Eyes. Hey, Northwest Sisk. We see you too, Rebecca.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
I represent your mother in this case. You've never spoken to me about this case, correct?
I have not.
I guess the best place to start is where you left off with respect to the comments that you made regarding your mother taking it well. When's the last time you listened to that call?
I haven't listened to it. You listened to the call I had with my mom.
Okay, So I know the other night we were starting with Jackie's cross-examination of Wendy on the stand during Donna's trial. And I kept hearing, because I was wearing headphones at the time, I kept hearing this like weirdo breathing thing. And I'm like, oh my God, where's that coming from? Whose mic's on? We end up figuring it out that it's Wendy. Wendy is doing this breathing that's like controlling. I don't know if it's controlling her nerves or whatever, but the whoo, like that noise that you're hearing, that's Wendy on the stand.
I've never listened to it.
Well, from the interview room, you've never listened to your interview?
I have read the transcript of my interview, but I never listened to my interview.
You don't recall the shock in your mother's voice when you told her what had happened?
I do think she was shocked.
You could hear that over the phone, correct?
Yes.
So many topics were covered. I'm going to have to kind of skip around, okay? Katie Magbanua, Katherine Magbanua, I guess people call her Katie. There was a picture of you with her at the beach.
Okay, so her mouth is closed during a majority of this. So all of that, I mean, normally, like when you're trying to calm yourself down, you breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. But because Wendy is keeping her mouth pursed at this point in time, it's all coming out of her nose. And I think it's hitting her mic. And that's why you hear that, like you hear this breathing noise. We know it's not Georgia. It's odd. If you're listening regular, it's fine. If you have the time later to either go to the Tallahassee Democrat newspaper YouTube page and watch day 5, or re-listen to this and have headphones or earbuds on and you got them turned up all the way, you'll hear it. Because I did not hear it when I was watching this live, or even the time before when I've watched this. I caught onto it a few days ago.
Beach, and there was another young lady there. You recall that?
I recall the picture, yes.
And that was Father's Day weekend, I guess, of 2014.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think your testimony was that really you only knew her with Charlie. Is that right?
That's right.
Was Charlie at the beach?
No,
Your mother wasn't there either, was she?
no.
And then I think you mentioned that you had had a dinner with Katie.
And my brother.
Okay. Was that before you went to the beach?
It was a different time.
Do you recall if it was before then?
So she just said, is the first time you met Katie in March. Like, I don't know. Is there info that Wendy met Katie before March of 2014?
Then
It was before,
Okay.
but several months before.
several months before.
Mhm.
Okay. So if this was Father's Day, when do you think you actually met her for the first time?
I think I met her when I was doing the alternative spring break. So that's usually March or April.
Same year?
Same year.
Hey, Rosie.
And the dinner that was mentioned, is that the first place you ever met her?
That's the first place I remember meeting her.
And who all was there?
It was my brother and Katie.
Wendy just said that's the first place I remember meeting her. I find that answer suspicious.
And Jeff and I. Jeff
Mr.
Lacasse.
I'm sorry, how you pronounce it?
Lacasse.
Lacasse. Okay, so the four of you were there. Your mother was not there.
No.
I want you to, it's been 11 years, so a lot I'm sure has happened to you in the past 11 years. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And your memory may not be as good as it was of things that happened back then, now that 11 years has passed. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. As best you can, I want you to take yourself out of the year 2025 and go back to the years somewhere like 2010 through 2014 when Mr. Markel was murdered, okay?
Okay.
In that time frame are going to be most of the questions that I ask you.
Okay.
All right. I think you testified you had a brother, Charlie,
Yes.
and you have a brother, Rob.
Yes.
So that was a 5-member family.
Yes.
Okay. And Rob's the oldest.
Yes.
Charlie is the middle,
Yes.
and you're the baby.
Yes.
And you grew up in a household where, was your mother working when you were younger?
No.
Okay. She stayed home.
Okay, listen, I know that I have all kinds of tap mic, like I'll have, debacles in regards to my sound. I've been on mute. That's not me. That like that noise is Wendy breathing in and out of her nose, and the exhaust or whatever it's calling, the inhale, exhale, the exhale is hitting the mic. That's what's happening here. Wendy's nervous, and I'm going to give it to Jackie Fulford. She is super nice to Wendy, but then she gets on a roll.
Home with the kids.
She did.
And at some point, she went back into teaching, which is what she had done before she had her first child, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And she did that after you were in school. Is that right?
Yes.
And then you all went to school, grade school, high school. You grew up, right?
Yes.
Each one of you went off to college.
Yes.
Each one of you got a postgraduate degree.
Yes.
So you're an attorney.
Yes.
Charlie became a periodontist.
Yes.
Which is someone who does surgery related to dentistry, correct?
Yes.
And then Rob's a doctor as well.
Yes.
And throughout the time that you all were going to college, your parents helped support you,
Yes.
every one of you.
Yes.
And you had a good childhood.
I did.
And your mom took good care of you all.
Yes.
She treated you well,
Yes.
very kind,
Yes.
very loving,
Yes.
very caring towards her family and others.
Yes.
I think you once described her as being kind, empathetic, and very loving and sensitive person. Do you recall that?
I don't recall that, but that sounds right.
That she radiates positivity.
Yes.
She has a very loving and respectful and fun relationship with my dad. They are very much in love. Now it's been 54 years.
It has.
You said your mom was completely selfless.
Yes.
That's the opposite of selfish.
It is.
Means she's caring more about others than she does about herself.
Yes, ma'am.
And what she did was for others.
Yes.
Never doing anything for herself.
Correct.
She was invested in your lives.
Yes.
And both of your brothers.
Yes.
You were a close family.
Yes.
And would you say she was a good mother to you?
Yes. Very good mother.
And a very good grandmother as well.
Yes.
When you had your first child, and you needed someone to help out, your mother came.
She did.
And she spent time there.
Yes.
And when the baby was crying in the middle of the night so that you could get some rest, she took care of the baby.
She did.
And she did that for both of you.
I just caught on to something. She said, okay, so Wendy is testifying in 2025. She said it's been 54 years. 2025 minus 54, what is that? 1971 is when Donna and Harvey got married.
Both of your children.
Yes.
Fair to say that your mom has always been there for you when you needed her,
Yes.
for little things and big things.
Yes.
Now, you testified that you left Danny in September of 2012. You recall that?
Yes.
From September of 2012 until March of 2013, your mother actually spent quite a bit of time helping you with the boys in Tallahassee, correct?
She did. Yes.
She would go home and take care of things there, but she would return.
Yes.
So a substantial amount of each month, she was there assisting you with the children.
Yes.
While you were at work, she may take them to school. Is that correct? Their daycare?
I don't remember that one, whether I dropped them at school or my mom did, but it's certainly possible that she took them to school.
She might have picked them up.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
She did some housework, cleaning up around the house.
Yes.
She bought groceries.
Yes.
She cooked.
Yes.
She cleaned.
Yes.
She was there for you because you had just left a marriage where you had a partner helping you, and now you were adjusting to being by yourself.
Remember, Wendy doesn't do any housework or any cleaning up after herself. Real quick, Rosie, that sounds delish. Lady of the Sun, thank you for being here. Everybody look at look at Rosie's menu. Yeah. And Northwest Sisk. I'm just gonna say Northwest Sisk. I don't know if that's what it means. I don't know what. I mean, I never know what people think, but yeah, it doesn't. It looks like apple pie is for dessert, not banana bread. Hello, Allison. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Okay, so we all know Wendy does not clean up after herself or her house. Jeffrey the Cass was mopping her floors, babysitting the boys.
By yourself, correct?
Yes.
Now, at the time, this time period we're talking about, your mother lived in, where did you say, Coral Springs?
Coral Springs.
And where is that in relation to Miami?
It's Broward County, so it's the county north of Dade County, which is where Miami is.
And in Broward County, that's like where Fort Lauderdale is?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and their dentist practice that they had that's been referred to, Adelson Institute,
Yes,
that was located in Broward County, correct?
it was. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to say something real quick about Jackie, which I mean, it plays into how she's going to play Wendy in a sense, but Jackie knows where Broward County is. She knows what Skype is. I mean, Jackie knows things, but it's kind of funny. And I'm talking about Jackie Fulford, Donna's defense attorney, whom we'll call Tom Petty with her outfit.
Yes.
Not far from where your parents lived.
Yes, in Tamarack, so close to Coral Springs.
Okay. And at some point, they got the place down in Miami, right?
Yes.
So what they were doing was they would work Monday through Thursday and stay at their home in Coral Springs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
then they would go and spend the weekend at the place in Miami. Is that right?
I don't think every weekend, but some weekends.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Okay. And you visited there.
I did.
Blue River, definitely not Shady Pines. Let's see what Mia's saying. It's interesting how under oath Wendy says she met Professor Markel in Washington, D.C. That's not true. She and Donna coveted Dan, sought him out on J-Date prior to them meeting up with him. And yeah, you're right. You're right. But was their first physical meeting in Washington, D.C.? But yeah, Donna saw he was working for a high profile law firm. Yep, through J-Date. Yes, she certainly did. Mia Wallace says Wendy originally met Dan through J-Date, where Donna cherry-picked him for Wendy. After meeting through J-Date, they hooked up in Washington. Yeah, I remember that. But why was he selected? It's because he was also working for a high-profile private law firm. Yeah, you're right. The narrative does eliminate the full picture. Dan, Mia, we're on the same page. I believe Dan was targeted. He was picked out for his pedigree. Yes, Rebecca, he was making the big bucks. When he went into academia, that's probably what pissed Donna off. Because he was no longer making like a, what, 500K or more a year salary. He went down to like a 250K, which was high for Tallahassee back then.
Now, when your mother would come up to assist you or just to visit with you and the children and Danny, did she drive typically or fly?
I think sometimes drive, sometimes fly.
Okay. And
Most of the time drive, I think.
most of the time drive. And that's almost an 8-hour trip, correct?
It is, yes.
And at the time that this occurred, your mother would have been, when Danny was murdered, she would have been, let's see, 64-ish?
That sounds right.
She's 75 now. Is that yes?
Yes.
And sometimes she would rent cars. Is that right?
Yes.
As opposed to driving her vehicle.
Yes.
Your father came sometimes as well to help out?
Yes.
I want to talk about Mr. Markel for a few minutes. I think you said you met online,
We did.
but you were attracted to him.
Yes.
He was a handsome young man.
Yes.
You're a beautiful young woman,
Thank you.
and you got married.
We did. Yes.
And there were times, I mean, we've heard about the divorce, but before the divorce, there were times where you had a happy marriage
Yes.
and you all enjoyed spending time together,
Yes.
the two of you together and with your children,
Yes.
and even your parents who would come up and spend time with you.
Yes.
And your parents actually took you and Danny on vacations, right?
Yes.
There was one trip where they took you out of the country and you went ziplining. Do you remember that?
Yes. We went to Costa Rica.
And after the ziplining is when you told them that you were pregnant, correct?
I went.
Oh my. Look at this. Look at the Costa Rica zip lining trip memory for Donna. She's showing teeth. She's happy. Oh, Donna, this is a good memory for you, sweetie poo.
Ziplining pregnant. Yes.
Wendy went ziplining pregnant. I don't know if that's safe or not. I guess in the early stages, maybe it is. I'm not sure. Ziplining in Costa Rica. Oh, Donna's proud mama. Proud mama.
You would agree with me that Danny, I'm saying Danny because that's what people call him. I'm not trying to be disrespectful of him. He's
No, I called him Danny.
okay. You would agree that he was very intelligent.
Yes. Very.
He had 2 degrees from Harvard, correct?
Yes.
Undergraduate and law school.
Yes, ma'am.
He did a lot of writing.
Yes.
And at the time that he was murdered, he was a tenured professor at the College of Law here at FSU, correct?
Yes.
And becoming tenured is not like an automatic thing. You have to work towards that, right?
Yes.
It takes a lot of time,
It does.
a lot of effort.
Mhm.
He put in a lot of work to gain that status.
Yes.
And he traveled to go and speak at different places, right?
Yes.
And he was well respected by his colleagues.
Yes. Very.
And after he had children, those became the love of his life, didn't they?
Yes.
And even after you separated, I think you would agree with me that Danny made a great deal of effort.
That sounds like fun, Armand. Or I always want to say Armand Fence or Armand Fence, but yeah. But Wendy just agreed with Jackie Fulford when she said his boys were the love of his life. We've heard a different situation in the prior trials. Hasn't Wendy said before he loved his boys and he loved his work?
To get as much time with his children as he could. Is that fair?
Yes. Absolutely.
Even when it was your time to have the children, he would go to their preschool and visit with them there.
Yes.
He wanted to talk to them on the phone when he didn't have them,
Yes.
and he wanted to Skype with them,
Yes.
correct? Okay. And that, I'm sorry, I'm old, but that involved like a computer where you can see each other while you're talking. Is that right?
I think now it's something you could do on the phone.
Okay. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. Wait a second. You guys, Jackie Fulford knows what Skyping is. Skyping, I mean, she runs a funeral home prior to defending Donna. There was a lot of Zooming and Skyping going on during COVID for funerals. She made tons of money during COVID on funerals. Why is she acting hunky dunky or honky tonky? Whatever, however you want to say it. Jackie is playing a game here.
Phone, but back then you needed a computer.
And you assisted with that.
I did.
Not necessarily the schedule he wanted.
I'm sorry.
You didn't necessarily keep the schedule that Danny wanted for Skyping, right?
I did try.
You tried,
Yes,
but that was one of the things you two bickered about.
it was.
And during the time that you were with Danny, your mother was always kind to him, wasn't she?
She was.
Before you got married to him,
Yes.
while you were married to him,
Yes.
while you were separated,
Yes.
and after the divorce.
Yes.
And there's been a lot of testimony and a lot of pictures put up, lots of things highlighted about the ugly things that your mother said about Danny during the course of the separation, divorce, and the follow-up litigation, right?
Yes.
And you shared, as you've testified, some of the pleadings that were filed.
Well, if Rosie, they're showing up to the meal that you posted earlier, they're going to be fed well. Congratulations at your senior grands.
In your case.
Yes.
And some of the pleadings weren't very attractive towards you, were they?
No.
They described things that were derogatory towards you. Is that fair?
Yes.
And the communications that you had with Danny during the separation, leading up to the divorce, and some thereafter, were pretty critical of you, weren't they?
The communication on paper, which
Right.
was very different than the communication in person.
Right. But the paperwork was critical.
Yes.
And you shared that with your mother.
Yes.
And some of the things that he said to you in writing, whether they were communications or in the pleadings, upset you.
Yes.
Some of it was very upsetting to you.
Yes.
And you shared it with your mother, and then she became upset.
Yes.
And she said bad words.
Yes.
She called him a lot of bad names.
Yes.
She said ugly things about him.
Yes.
But not one single time did she ever suggest in writing or to you personally that Danny deserved to be harmed, did she?
Never.
Never said he needed to be killed.
Never.
Never suggested any harm to him in any way.
Never.
And those things that she said to you in the emails, the communications, I assume that you all thought were between yourselves, you never shared those with Danny, did you?
No.
Exactly, Mia Wallace, but it backfired, okay? Because remember, she came out calling him Danny and people were like cringing. Only his intimate friends called him Danny. Most people called him Dan Markel. Oh my goodness. Oh, she did. Okay, so Rebecca was in the gallery during the trial. So she knows a lot of stuff. She mentioned earlier John Lauro, Wendy's attorney, was searching for stuff on Amazon. Everyone saw it. We've heard that from a couple of folks, but yes, thank you. And apparently Jackie was wearing that. Okay, I will say this though, Rebecca, in the South, people wear cowboy boots for all kinds of stuff. However, usually only during the late fall through before Easter because it's cold. This was in September. It was hot as heck. Just saying. So Jackie was wearing cowboy boots. Okay.
And during the separation, well, during the time you're married, we've already established, but during the separation, if Danny needed help with the children, your mother assisted him, didn't she?
He had called her and asked for help at various times, and she did.
And after the divorce, the same thing, correct?
He would call and ask for help, and she would help.
Michelle DeMatisse, hello. Yes, I agree. I love Tom Petty too. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. He originated in Gainesville. I grew up in Central Florida. I love Tom Petty. I like the Talking Heads as well. Let's see. I know. Yeah. Well, oh, this is so funny. Andrew says Governor DeSantis wears cow boots every day. Yeah, he does. He does. I think someone at some point called them lifts, but no, I have, well, I don't want to be self-revealing, but I have at least 7 pairs of boots. Okay, just saying.
Do you have States Exhibit 60 up there?
I don't see anything that says 60 on it.
I can't use this book. Is this JJ?
I know, Michelle. I do too. I remember the day that they found him. Heartbreaking.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor? I'm going to show you what has been entered into evidence as State's Exhibit 60, and I think they refer to it as JJ.
Okay.
Okay. And this would be your, it's going to fall if you don't hold that
Okay,
side. I'm
no
sorry.
problem.
I can't get this over for some reason.
I can try.
But this has been referred to as the pleadings that are within your dissolution file.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to leave that with you. Okay.
Okay.
Could you look at that document, the JJ, please?
Yes. You want me to just keep reading through it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I want you to familiarize yourself with it.
Rebecca, don't say who, but email me. Email me. Hey, Billie Jean. Good to see you, hon.
I'm still reading through it. Should I continue to read to the?
You don't need to read every word. If you would just familiarize yourself so that you can recall the substance of that pleading.
Okay.
In the news. Okay, this is kind of funny right here, you guys. Their divorce filing. Oh my. Okay, hang on. I got to go back. Their divorce filing is literally like, I believe it's like an 800-page file. Look at Wendy. Look at Wendy going through. Like she's actually looking page to page.
Okay.
Okay. Prior to you filing your petition for dissolution, do you want me to come and get that?
No, no, no.
Oh, I would love to know what 3 or 4 pages she just went through. Because the file is massive. I mean, was that for show or okay? I don't know. I'll move on. I'll move on. I know. Oh, Rosie, I know. She couldn't. That binder is insane. Listen, Leslie B., I love you, girl. Thank you. Thank you. You are amazing. Not only are you talented, you're also an amazing woman and super in tune with what's going on with this case. Billie Jean, you're cracking me up. I know. Okay, and this is all in our opinion, and we have every right to say something. Wendy is a public figure. We can talk about her. Look at all of the stuff that people say about Meghan Markle. I mean, even Savannah Guthrie at this point in time. Okay. I see what you just posted. I'm not gonna put it up on the screen just in case you want to delete it later. But no, I know exactly what that's behind. That's behind the 5-year-old. I know exactly what you're saying, Rebecca. And I apologize to anybody who's not scene. But yeah, yeah. Uh, well, thank goodness, because that's a catastrophe what she's created. I uh I think Michelle's talking about Donna. I agree. Okay, so my neighbor's dog, please forgive me, y'all. Um, However, you guys, when I was watching the trial, because I did watch it on Tallahassee Democrat YouTube channel, because I didn't want any um other commentary. I just really like to watch it just plain, just simple. And it's no offense to anyone who is streaming it. Okay, I mean that's just me. But Donna's face when Wendy appeared versus Donna's face when Rob appeared, it was so obvious. Crazy. Okay, I'm moving on.
No, it's okay.
Okay. Prior to filing your petition for dissolution, what kind of experience did you have regarding divorce proceedings?
I'm trying to understand the question.
Yeah,
So
sure.
prior to filing the dissolution of marriage,
Yes.
there weren't any divorce proceedings prior to filing.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is because you're an attorney, were you familiar with family law?
No,
Had you participated in any helping anybody with their dissolution of marriage?
I had not.
Completely unfamiliar with the process.
I was unfamiliar with the process.
And that pleading that's before you, are you back on the front page of that?
I can get back to the front page.
Thank you.
I'm on the front page.
Okay. And could you read for the jury what the title of that pleading is?
Yes, ma'am. Former husband's counter motion for enforcement of MSA on parenting issues and motion for contempt and sanctions.
Doesn't say grandmother motion, does it?
No,
And in fact, the overwhelming majority of that motion relates to Danny's complaints about you and parenting issues, correct?
it does. Yes.
And in fact, what they call the grandmother part of that motion is really Danny complaining about you not meeting the requirements of the right of first refusal, correct?
That's correct.
Because his complaint is that if you gave him the right of first refusal, some of the times he could take it and the children would be with him instead of the grandmother.
Yes.
It wasn't actually suggesting that from this point forward, your mother could no longer have anything but supervised visitation, correct?
I didn't see it that way.
Okay. And
I beg to differ in a sense. The motion that they're talking about was filed in March of 2014. The updated motion included Donna telling the boys that your dad's stupid, I hate your dad, and then the boys relaying stuff to Dan Markel. Dan Markel heard his sons say, Grandma thinks you're stupid. You're taking away her sunshines. So, what Jackie's bringing up right now is an initial petition from this one, but not the entire story.
in any event, your mother never saw that motion, did she?
No, she did not.
May I approach? I'm going to take the book. I don't know if I'm going to give it back to you or not. That way it's not going to fall on you.
Okay.
Yeah, there was no marriage counseling.
Now, the state has referred to this bribe. You've heard him talk about that, correct?
I believe so.
They suggested, because I think there are emails that discuss this, about potentially offering Danny $1 million.
Yes.
And your understanding of what was trying to take place there, because you actually put that in writing, was it wasn't to take the children away from Danny, was it?
No.
It was in hopes that he would relocate to Miami as well, correct?
Yes.
And that although you would live separate lives, you could raise your children together, correct?
Yes.
Because there were more opportunities for him, Danny, to practice his Jewish faith in Miami than there is in Tallahassee, correct?
Correct.
They have kosher food in Miami,
Yes.
lots of it.
Yes.
They don't have that in Tallahassee.
No.
And the $1 million offer was not to
I'll agree with that. There's much more kosher food in Miami than there is in Tallahassee. You got okay, Liz. Okay, you guys, Jackie. I'm sorry. Jackie Fulford, in my opinion, was a gorgeous, gorgeous woman back in the day. She was always like super tan, like over tan, like maybe even like tanning bed burned at some point in time. But she did not look like this 7 to 10 years ago. Jackie Fulford was a great prosecutor. She had a lot of problems when she became a judge. In my opinion, and also on also you can Google it and get public information about that.
to bribe him in what sounds like an illegal sense. It was an incentive for him to relocate himself to Miami, correct?
Yes. That was my understanding. Yes.
You lived there with him before,
Yes.
and he liked living there.
Yes. He
In
liked
fact-
it very much.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
No, that's okay. I was just saying he liked it very much.
In fact, he tried to get a professorship at the University of Miami School of Law.
He did.
And if he had gotten that,
I'm going to let her say her disparaging remark about Dan in a second, but I want to say hello, Steph. Steph, I always say your name so slow because it's literally like a tongue twister. Steph sells stuff by the seashore. Don't say that 3 times fast.
the plan between you and he was to stay in Miami, correct?
We would have. Yes.
But he didn't get it. And so he had already been employed by FSU College of Law, right?
Yes.
And so you moved up here and finished law school, and you all remained in this area.
Yes.
So the $1 million would offset, as the state has mentioned, travel expenses if he moved there, correct?
Right.
He only taught 2 days a week, right?
Yes.
And so that would have given him the opportunity to live in Miami. But for the 2 days a week he needed to be in Tallahassee, he could take plane trips, right?
Yes.
And be here.
Yes.
And if you all had done that, he still could have enjoyed 50% parenting time with his children, right?
That would have been the same. Yes.
It wasn't to take him away from the kids.
No.
We're going to talk about relocation more than once, but I just want to make sure I understand how that all came about. Okay. So it was, you left the marital home in August or September of 2012.
I think it was September.
Okay. So you separated officially in 2012.
Yes.
By the time he was murdered, almost 2 years had passed.
Yes.
Okay. Do I understand it correctly that somewhere around October or November of 2012,
Do you guys hear Wendy's breathing? It's like it's nuts.
that you interviewed for a job at a law firm in Miami?
I did.
And that was the Grossman firm?
I think it's Grossman and Roth.
Okay. And somewhere around December of 2012, they made you an offer.
They did.
And I don't need to know numbers, but was it substantially more than you were making in Tallahassee?
It was, and it was just more secure.
More secure. Okay. Not more money?
No, it was more money, but it just more than anything, it was secure money as opposed to grant money that could be taken away.
Okay. So you were a professor also at the law school here in Tallahassee.
Okay, so remember, Gary Cohen was supposedly going to give her $1 million law firm office law position. She never practiced law. His board never approved of that. Gary Cohen was going to come up to Tallahassee and like basically perjure himself in Wendy's divorce case and say that the offer was being given to her. It was never cleared by his law firm board. Okay.
Tallahassee,
I was.
FSU.
Yes.
You were not tenured.
No, I was a clinical professor.
Okay, so being tenured means you have more stability in your job.
Yes, you
It's
have more job security.
Job security, okay. And so you got that offer in December, and sometime in January, you told Danny that you had a good job offer, correct?
Yes, I asked to meet with him and we went to get coffee and talk about it.
Okay, and in part of that discussion, you asked him if he would consider all of you, not together, but all of you
Yes.
relocating to Miami, correct?
I did.
And he was going to consider that, correct?
He said he was considering it. He wasn't opposed to it.
You thought it would be good for all of you, correct?
I thought it could be.
Including the boys.
Yes.
He decided he didn't want to do it, right?
He changed his mind.
But you didn't change your mind, right?
No, I kept going with it.
So you
Hey, Judy. AA Legal Focus. Judy is here. Hey, thank you for joining us.
filed a motion for temporary relocation, and you also amended your petition for dissolution to add relocation, correct?
I did.
Okay. At the time that you filed it, did you think you had a good shot at it?
I thought I had a shot. I didn't really know. It would depend on the judge.
Okay. And we'll go back to it later, but I guess on June the 18th of 2013, which would be right before your divorce.
June the 18th of 2013 was about 6 weeks before their divorce was final.
Was finalized, right? You had a hearing on your motion for relocation,
Yes.
and the state has already presented in its exhibits a copy of the order, and relocation was denied, correct?
It was.
And after relocation was denied, you and Danny were able to work out some kind of temporary schedule for the summer.
We were.
Okay. And then you proceeded forward, and there's been discussion. There was a mediation that did not resolve your divorce, but within a few days thereafter, you did come to an agreement with Danny, correct?
We did.
You agreed to all of the issues in the dissolution of marriage, right?
Yes.
Including how you were going to share time with him.
Yes.
Was it ever your intention in the dissolution proceedings from the time that you moved out of your marital home that you would actually take the children's custody completely away from Danny so that he couldn't see them?
And no,
Did you always want them to be a big part of his life?
of course.
He loved them and they loved him.
Yes.
Does anyone remember how many bottles of water Wendy drank on the stand? She was chugging it. Oh, and then she just totally fibbersed here, saying that she wanted Danny to be a big part of the boys' lives. That is so not true. In my opinion, based on 4 trials of evidence, Wendy did not want Dan in the picture. She didn't even want a parent. She wanted to give her boys to her mom.
Custody completely away from Danny so that he couldn't see them.
And no,
Did you always want them to be a big part of his life?
of course.
He loved them and they loved him.
Yes.
I wonder if Wendy has something else that's clear liquid in her water bottles. Just saying. Just saying this one.
Yes. That's fine. The bailiff will take you all to your room.
I believe this is when I think this is when Jackie is asking for a bathroom break for Donna.
Thank you. You all can be seated. Resolve if your client does need to use a bathroom break at this point, this would be the
Yep.
opportunity to do so.
Potty break for
We'll leave it
Donna.
We'll take a 5-minute break. Hopefully the jurors will be ready at that point. You can step down if you need to.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to skip forward real quick. Donna had to go potty. I wonder what got her so upset. We're going to restart real quick. Here we go.
What are they doing in the bathroom? There's like a few waiting. Okay.
Yes, this was
Please
the
remain
day.
standing, and the jurors will come out in just a moment. Gotcha. Everyone can be seated. Ms. Fulford, you may continue with your cross-examination.
Thank you. I have just a bunch of oddball questions at this point. You recall getting emails from your mother
Yes.
and your father?
Well, yes, from both,
And,
from the same email.
And I think you had a necklace at some point during that time period that said, never, never, never give up.
I did.
And your parents would sometimes put that in the emails back to you, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So this is pointed. Donna and Harvey share an email. We never know who is sending what. We always assume it's always Donna. But yeah, the never, never, never. There's 3 nevers. Give up necklace. I like it how sometimes I pause it and this one, the unindicted co-conspirator, looks horrific. Just saying. The heat is on.
I need to know if you recall this. Your parents, you had mentioned when they went out of the country, used the WhatsApp to communicate with them because it was free of charge.
Yes.
You could call them free
Yeah.
of charge,
Yes.
and you could message with them free of charge.
Both. Yes.
And when your parents would go out of town, do you recall that they had a routine where your mother would take her phone, but your father would not get the plan to travel with? Do you recall that?
That sounds right.
Okay. And wasn't that because if you called the Adelson Institute and you got the answering machine, it was an old-fashioned answering machine, right?
Yes.
And what it gave out if you reached the answering machine was your father's cell phone number.
Yes.
So he didn't want to
Yes.
be contacted when he was out of town, and that's what people would get, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is interesting. Is Jackie just asking that information to Wendy for whatever's about to come, or is she trying to set up a situation where Harvey is never really with his cell phone? Just wondering.
Yes.
The birthday party that's been mentioned for your dad, it was his 70th birthday.
It was.
And although I don't think it ended up being a surprise, your mom was trying to plan a party for him where he knew his children and grandchildren would be there, but she was trying to surprise him with the friends.
That's right.
And you might have helped her with some of those preparations.
I think so.
And she planned it for several months, right?
Yes.
And I think one of the things that you got involved with was a caterer that was going to be used to cook paella. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. at the party?
It's pronounced paella. I think, I remember on the night of, I speak Spanish, so I spoke with him in Spanish because I don't think he spoke much English.
And mommy, your mother didn't speak Spanish, right?
No.
Okay.
Hey Jane, good to see you. So Wendy is the only one who can order paella for the family because she's got to let everybody know that she speaks Spanish. Just saying. Oh, and now, maybe not now, maybe later, just Google Miami area paella catering. There's like 100. They all speak English. I'll guarantee you. I mean, okay, I won't guarantee you, but maybe about 10 don't, but the other 90 do.
Okay. You weren't actually making the order and buying it, correct?
No, I didn't pay for anything.
Yeah, the only lawyer in the family couldn't give
May I approach, Your Honor?
legit
still Adelson,
advice.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Adelson, I'm going to approach and show you what's been marked just for identification purposes as defense 49J, and ask you to look at that and tell me if you've ever seen that before.
I have seen this before.
Okay, and that's an email that your father sent to you regarding the appointment that he had made for the TV to be repaired, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And on the front page, you can see where he's forwarding.
Okay. Oh my goodness. This is so funny right now. Okay, Leslie B got this email in her FOIA. On July 11th, Wendy, Harvey, the boys are all together because they're traveling back to Tally, or they're already in Tallahassee on July 11th because Dan Markel is coming back from the New York trip to pick up the boys for his week of custody. They're all together. Wendy is receiving an email in regards to the TV repair.
Forwarding it to you, and it says, "Love, Dad," right?
Yes.
And then he tells you when the appointment's going to be, Friday the 18th between 8 and 12, right?
Yes.
And then when you flip, well, now stay on the first page. Do you see down almost 2/3 of the way down where it has the order information and the order creation date?
Yes.
And that date was what?
The order creation date is July 11th, 2014.
Okay. And on the next page, where the problem description is, it says that Harvey called in, stated that the 55-inch TV screen had some problems, right?
Yes.
Go to the next page. It repeats about the complaint that your father had about what was wrong with the TV, right?
Yes.
If you scroll down, there are some questions under date submitted, right?
Yes.
Whether the TV is wall mounted,
Yes.
what the size of the TV is.
Yes.
If it's mounted over 6 feet high,
Yes.
if the height of the ceiling.
Yes.
Is it eligible for a loaner?
Yes.
Was it installed by the Geek Squad?
Yes.
Is the product that we're going to service in a place of business?
So I'm saying yes that I see these questions, but the answer to that question is no.
Right.
Okay.
Correct. That's what I was going to point out. So your
Okay.
dad said no to that one, correct?
Right.
Is the product that we are going to service in a place of business, and your dad answered.
I think it's very interesting that Jackie is representing during this questioning that Harvey is making these communications.
Answered no, correct?
He answered no.
And the next one says what?
Would you be willing to accept a sooner appointment if one became available? And the answer to that one is yes.
Thank you. May I approach? Ms. Adelson, you testified on direct when asked some questions about the name change of your children. You recall those questions?
Yes.
Okay, and I think your testimony was that you officially changed your children's last names a year and a half? What did you say?
I legally changed them a year after Danny's death.
Okay. But after he passed away and you went to Miami, it was time for your oldest child to be enrolled in kindergarten, right?
Yes.
And so what were the ages of the children when Danny was murdered?
They were almost 5 and 3.5.
Okay. And so the 5-year-old was going into kindergarten.
Yes.
And where was the other child going to be? Was he being put in a preschool program?
It was a preschool program.
Okay. And so you went and registered them at the school, correct?
Yes.
And the official registration said Markel for the children's last names, correct?
I believe so.
But because you were going to socially refer to them as Adelson, that's what you asked the school to do as well, right?
Yes.
And so when you went into orientation for the oldest child, I'm trying not to say the name, when you went into orientation for the oldest child for kindergarten, and they had his little nameplate there where he was going to sit at his desk, it said last name Adelson, right?
I honestly don't remember him having a last name on. I remember his first name being there, but I don't remember. I thought they put the first names for the kindergartners.
But you asked the school to refer to him by the last name Adelson.
I did.
And so there was an exhibit that was shown to you where your mother had registered him for an after-school flag football, right?
Right.
And so because the school's knowing his name, that he's being referred to as Adelson, that's why she did that, correct?
Correct.
And the youngest one, where was he going to go? Or where did he go?
He was at a preschool, a private preschool, because he was too young to go to the preschool at the public elementary school.
Okay. And whether it was your mother or your father who wrote the email about.
Okay, so this is the thing. Whether your name is legally something and you're socially going by another name, parents can register you in your legal name, but then ask the school to call you by another name. It's not just first names, it's also last names. I have personal experience with this.
About signing up and grandpa's
In my own childhood.
coming with him to, I'm sorry, I'm not Jewish. I didn't understand what that was.
It's okay. Tot Shabbat would have been, like a Sabbath activity where the grandparents would come and sing songs and
Okay.
something like that.
And so the younger one's also being known as last name Adelson.
Yes.
Because socially, that's what you wanted them to go forward with.
I thought it would make them safer.
Okay.
I want to say hello real quick to people who've joined. I believe Neverly Darlin is here. Neverly Darlin, that's how I want to call you. Hey, Florida Gulf Coast. I see Dr. Chat P. If I'm missing you guys, Anne Marie showed up. Hey, hello. How are you? Thank you for being here. All right, so we're continuing just listening to Wendy's testimony. She's an unindicted co-conspirator. She's been listed as an unindicted co-conspirator since 2016. And she's still free. And everything that we say here is freedom of speech. We are not harassing. No one is going after her. I tell you, do not go after her if you know where she lives or whatever. Don't physically do anything bad. But we're just listening to all of her lies on the stand. I'm sorry, it's just lies, okay? Because this is the fourth trial. Everything's different. Her attitude is different during her mama's trial. Yes, I
There
do
was
have
some
it trained.
questions of you on direct about potentially purchasing a home after the divorce was final in 2013. You recall those questions?
I do.
And it was suggested that Charlie convinced you not to do that, right?
That was what was suggested.
But in fact, the reason I think you stated was because you hadn't gotten your settlement yet from Mr. Markel.
Right. I didn't have the money to purchase a home.
And so even though you had been interested in it, you had to notify your realtor that
It wasn't possible at that time.
Hey, YB, good to see you. I'm sorry if I missed anyone saying hello. I think I said hello to Jane for Justice earlier.
And in the emails that the state introduced and discussed with you, where your mother is making lots of suggestions, mostly after relocation was denied, of things that you could do, like tell Danny you're going to raise them as Catholics, you're going to have them baptized as Catholics. All of those suggestions she was making, correct?
Yes.
She wasn't actually suggesting you do it. She was wanting you to use that as a means of negotiating with Danny, right?
That's my understanding.
That if he thought maybe you were going to do these things, he would reconsider the issue of relocation, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I apologize for the train in the background. However, watch and listen to Jackie's tone and her picking up the pace of her questioning and her turning her pages like a fool or like a mad woman. She's about to get down.
Testified that your mother hated Danny at the time that he was killed. Do you remember saying that?
I believe I said that.
But the week before he died, your mother was babysitting for Danny, wasn't she?
Yes.
And nothing but pleasantries between the two of them.
That's right.
And in
And
fact, she actually made him banana bread specifically the way he liked it, right?
it was his favorite.
Without nuts, but with chocolate chips.
That's right.
But you
I've
think she
never
hated
heard
it.
of that. Never
I think
heard
she
of
was
the
mad at him.
banana
Mad at
bread
him.
with
There's a
nuts,
difference
not
between being mad
chocolate
at
chips.
someone and hating them, isn't there?
There
Vice
is.
versa.
I think you testified that, and there may have been an email that
I'm sorry, I
Right?
just spoke
was his
over
favorite.
that.
actually made him banana bread specifically the way he liked it, right?
It was his favorite.
Without nuts, but with chocolate chips.
That's right.
But you think she
Okay. I'm Southern. Maybe it's a different area type thing. I've never heard of banana bread with chocolate chips. I just haven't. I make banana bread with nuts or without nuts. And if I use nuts, they are basically crushed up walnuts. Just sorry. Side note,
hated him,
I think she was mad at him.
mad at him. There's a difference between being mad at someone and hating them, isn't there?
There is.
I think you testified that, and there may have been an email that suggested it, that you would have never left Danny if not for your mom and maybe brother's suggestions. Did you say that?
I don't think that was exactly right. I think it was I probably wouldn't have left. Kind of suggesting that maybe I would have wanted to, but wouldn't have had the strength or wherewithal to leave on my own.
Okay, isn't it true that each year, maybe not every year, but many years, yourself and Danny would, when you finished the school session here at FSU College of Law, you would go down to Coral Springs or Miami, whichever they were at, and you would spend almost 2 weeks with your parents, right?
Yes.
And that would be yourself and Danny when it was just you. right?
Yes.
And then after you had the children, all of you went down there, correct?
Yes.
Well, in fact, what really happened was in the summer of 2012, when you decided that you were going to leave Danny, Danny was down there with you, correct?
Yes.
And the children were there too.
Yes.
And they were young. How old were they?
In 2012, they would have been 2 and 3.
Okay. And you, Danny was there, and you actually asked your mom if she'd go out to coffee with you. Remember that?
I don't remember that.
And you told her then that you were going to leave Danny and get a divorce, didn't you?
That sounds right, but I don't remember that.
Okay. And in fact, she suggested counseling to you, and you told her you guys had already been in counseling and it didn't work. Isn't that right?
We had been in counseling and it hadn't worked, but again, this sounds like something that could have happened, but I just don't remember the coffee.
Okay.
She doesn't
There's
remember
also
having.
questions of you, several questions about your interview with law enforcement.
She doesn't remember having a very specific coffee time. They always call it coffee dates, which is odd to me. Whatever. But you don't remember going somewhere and having a coffee with your mother in a restaurant and complaining about this stuff. I mean, Jackie's kind of onto something here. I think Allison Galvani might have left, but Allison remembers when we did our live streams on Wendy's testimony that I don't remember series. When this one says I don't remember, it means I'm not going to tell you the truth because I'm only going to remember the specifics of my alibi in Dan Markel's murder. That's my opinion, but that's also my informed conclusion about all of the evidence that is public record.
The day that Danny was shot. You recall those questions from the state?
I do recall the questions.
And they were pointing out things that you had said about your family, your parents, Charlie. Remember those questions?
I do.
Isn't it true that when you were interviewed by law enforcement, what you said initially was that Danny's parents were going to think that you're the one who did it, right?
I did say that.
Yep, he should not have eaten that banana bread if it was
talk about the
real.
relocation a little bit. So you have a relocation hearing on June the 18th. Does that sound right?
2013?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And leading up to that hearing, you notified your mother by email that because she was going to be testifying in court, she would need to wait outside that hearing, correct?
I don't remember that, but that if she was supposed to be a witness, then she couldn't be present for the hearing.
May I approach, Your Honor? I'm going to show you, oh my goodness, I can't read that. I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification purposes, Defense Exhibit 49B. You can just read that for me, please, to yourself.
Paper shaking, paper shaking.
Do you want me to read to the end?
No, ma'am, I'm just
Oh.
looking for where you told your mother, get you to agree that you said to her, because you are testifying in court, Mom, you won't be able to sit in on the hearing with me. Is that what
Yes.
you said?
Okay, so this is when Jackie's about to go after her about like how she didn't fight for relocation. And it was with prejudice.
Yes, but I can have Dad there. Yeah.
Come and get it from you.
Okay.
Exactly, Rebecca. Yeah. Yeah. Georgia, aka Tabbers. Fibbers and Tabbers. Oh, who first said Tabbers? Am I missing it, Jane? Gibbers, Fibbers, Tabbers.
Sometime in April of 2013, so that would be not long before your divorce was final. You took a trip. I don't know if you were speaking there or someone else was, but you took a trip out of town with a gentleman named Miguel. You recall that?
Okay.
I don't recall the trip, but I was seeing Miguel at the time.
Okay. I'm going to set you guys up for the for what's happening. Remember, during Jeffrey Lacasse's interviews with Tallahassee Police Department, he said, I think it was even on the stand, that Wendy had told him that she had lied during her deposition for her divorce when she said that she wasn't dating anyone at any certain time frame. I can't remember. Oh, I'm so sorry. I cannot remember right now. But this is what Jackie Fulford is doing to Wendy right now. Wendy is about to admit that she went on a trip with Miguel Edmondson before she was officially divorced from Dan Markel. April, okay, I'll go back 10 seconds. April of 2013, their divorce was not final until July 31st of 2013. Here we go.
Down with a gentleman named Miguel. You recall that?
I don't recall the trip, but I was seeing Miguel at the time.
You do recall the trip?
Well, I was seeing Miguel at the time, but I don't know what the trip was in April of 2013. I don't remember that.
Puerto
Can you tell me
Rico.
where we went?
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to get that.
Okay.
Puerto Rico. Does that sound familiar?
There
It
were a
was,
few.
a clinical law professor conference. There's one every year, and that year it was in Puerto Rico.
Okay. And did you speak at that, or you were there to get credit hours or something? of that
No,
nature?
I spoke.
She gave a deposition in her divorce file that she wasn't dating anybody before finalizing a divorce with Danny. This is where Jeffrey Lacasse is.
I'm going to now show you what's been marked for identification purposes as defendant's exhibit.
I'm sorry. This is where Jeffrey Lacasse's testimony comes into play. Wendy did commit perjury during her divorce in the deposition. She was seeing Miguel. They both went on this Puerto Rico trip. Wendy was speaking, but they were together.
Exhibit 1E, and it's dated April the 28th of 2013 and addressed Dear Renee. You don't need to read it all, but would you familiarize yourself with your communication there, please?
But she's fluent in Spanish, Jane. Exactly, and not likely.
Okay, I've read a little bit. Do you want me to?
That's okay.
Okay.
I'll point out any sections that I wanted to discuss with you. Would you agree that you wrote this on April the 28th of 2013?
Yes, it looks like I dated it.
Okay, and that's to Renee.
Yes,
And you're coming back from your trip to Puerto Rico.
yes,
And while you were on this trip, your parents were taking care of the boys, correct?
yes.
And on the first page down towards the bottom, you have some bullet points about what you would like to do to resolve your divorce, correct?
Well, I think it was not just about my divorce. It was kind of about how I wanted to be living my life overall.
Yeah, I was trying not to get into the personal information, but that's right. This entire email is really about changes you want to make in your life, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the last bullet point.
Okay, that was totally funny. Okay, listen, Jackie Fulford knows what she's doing. She just said, I didn't want to get into your personal life. Hello, Jackie. That's what we've been doing for the past couple of minutes. But that was hilarious. I went back 10 seconds.
To be living my life overall.
Yeah, I was trying not to get into the personal information, but that's right. This entire email is really about changes you want to make in your life, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the last bullet point down at the bottom, it says, I've been coming to a place in the last few months where I have realized that I want to keep my job. It allows me the maximum amount of flexibility to spend with my kids while allowing the freedom for intellectual exploration, one-on-one mentoring with students, and meaningful work in the community. I don't care that Gibbers told my colleagues that I stole from him and that I am mentally ill. Nasty things are said in divorce, and people know that, right?
Yes.
Tallahassee isn't ever where I wanted to live, but it's where the job is. And it's where my boy's father is, which means they don't have to constantly be flying on planes or driving in cars to accomplish our custody situation, right?
Yes.
So you have the pending petition and motion for relocation, but as of April the 28th, you're starting to think maybe staying in Tallahassee is the right thing to do, correct?
Yes.
And then this goes on. Third page is now you're writing on May the 2nd of 2013.
Good night, Rosie. Enjoy your grands. Have a good time with the leftovers and the apple pie.
Correct?
Yes.
A little different subject, but if you go to the next to the last page of that exhibit, see where it starts, wait, it's me again?
Hey, Matt Mello, good to see you.
Yes.
Okay. The paragraph after that, I wanted to ask you about this. It says, on Sunday morning, we're supposed to sit on the same stage. You're referring to Mr. Markel, correct?
Yes.
In full regalia and clap for the graduating law students. I love graduation, and the Gibbs has never attended because it's normally on a Saturday morning and he is at synagogue. Correct?
Yes.
And then you say it's on Sunday this year and I have the boys and the dean wants all faculty to attend. So I need to, it's only 2 hours and my mom can watch the boys during that time. Correct?
Yes.
So it was fairly routine then for you to get your mother or both parents' assistance when you had somewhere that you needed to be and someone needed to take care of the children, correct?
Yes.
This is the whole defense's, the defense attorneys, just a moment, but we're having to
Sorry,
waste
Judge,
lots
let me
of
take
time.
care of- confused.
Good to see you, Salt and Pepper. I'm sorry, Salty Pepper. You guys, that breathing is Wendy. Okay, went back 10 seconds. But remember, the whole motto of Donna's defense was just a moment, Judge. Can I have a moment, Judge? Lots of paper flapping.
May I approach? I'm gonna exchange with you, Ms. Adelson. I'll take that one back and then show you what's been marked as Defense Exhibit 1G for identification purposes. Could you review that to yourself, please?
Okay, so, okay, we've all been listening very intently. Jackie's stomping. Jackie's about to get going.
Okay.
I'm not sure if this was to Renee or not. Yeah, you mentioned Renee. So this is on June the 4th of 2013, correct?
Yes.
And we're approaching the hearing.
Okay, so I sped it up just a bit because I went through. I want to stop when Wendy's done. And it's maybe another 40 minutes, but I sped it up to 125. It's been at 115. So I apologize. I want to try to get done as soon as possible, but we probably have another 30 minutes. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for chatting and being interested in justice for Dan Markel, because we're not done until full justice for Dan Markel with the unindicted co-conspirators, including this one. There's another one as well. Not too worried about that one, but this one.
Hearing date on the relocation motion, which is set for June the 18th, right?
Yes.
And in here, you're expressing some concerns over what you've been through in the divorce. But you said, and I think the state referred to this, that Mr. Markel had sent you a long message about how you could be doing all of the divorce stuff so differently in the spirit of love and joy, where we get together and talk about our vision for the boys and for our future. And I won't say what you said after that, but at this point, you're kind of agreeing with him. You want to do it peacefully, right?
Yes.
And you talk about the one alternative is you could call Gary. Now, Gary is the gentleman who was kind of offering you a position in Miami, right?
Gary was a partner at the law firm where a position was offered to me.
Okay. And your plan was to have him.
Gary Cohen, who was going to appear in family court in the divorce proceedings and lie and say that Wendy had a job offer that his board never truly Approved. Just saying.
Have him come and testify at the relocation hearing about the job that he would be giving you if you relocated there, correct?
Yes.
And you had other people who were going to testify there as well on your behalf, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so you say one alternative is you call Gary and say, I've changed my mind. I don't think it's best for my kids to move them to South Florida. I appreciate you saving the job for me, but I'm not going to come to South Florida, correct?
Yes.
And then you say, you call your brother and say, I love you, Charlie, but I'm going to stay in Tallahassee. I know you don't agree with my decision, but that's what's best for me and the kids right now. I hope one day you'll understand. That was something else you're considering, correct?
Right.
And then call your parents and say basically the same thing. And if they wanted to come up anytime and visit you and the boys in Tallahassee, they were free to do so, right?
Yes.
But that's like they've always been doing, correct?
Yes.
So you think if you take relocation off the table, that it will give you an opportunity to discuss things with Mr. Markel and hopefully work them out, right?
Yes.
On the next page, you talk about what the alternative vision is, and that's what you currently have planned, which is to have Gary fly up to testify at the hearing, right?
Yes.
Your mom would testify, right?
Yes.
They would fly up and spend days with you, correct?
Yes.
You expected at that time the hearing would last 1 to 2 days, right?
Yes.
And you were concerned that you would go through all of that, spending more money, being more stressed. And then you say,
They actually were all in town. They were outside the courtroom. That's a fact.
for the chance to save face with my family and to be given an opportunity I don't actually want to live with them in South Florida. That's what you said, right?
Well, I say an opportunity I don't actually want with all of my heart, but maybe part of it
Okay.
to live with them in South Florida.
All right. And then you say, so I am willing to put myself through all of this just to keep up appearances with my parents and brother that I want to be living down in South Florida or down south with them, even though I don't want to. That's what you said, right?
I say, even though I don't want to give up my current flexible job where I get to spend maximum time with my kids so I can be with them.
Okay. And that was June the 4th of 2013, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to say this real quickly. Maximum time with your kids. You're working 4 hours a week. They're in full-time daycare. You have your children 50-50. 1 week on, 1 week off. The Wednesday is a switcheroo. Weekends, it is what it is. But full time with your kids, there was never full time with her children. And that is based on the information that we know about the custody agreement. I want to spend maximum time with my children. Nope. Oh my gosh. When WHENDI.
And what you end up choosing was the second alternative, correct?
I went through with the hearing.
Okay. And I think, let me find it. May I approach, Your Honor? I'm going to show you what's already been introduced into evidence as State's Exhibit 60. Let's see if I can figure out their lettering system. That would be Y. I'll take this and let you take this book.
Okay.
And if you would review that pleading, or just this order that the court entered, please.
Okay.
Have you had an opportunity to review that?
Yes,
So you went into this hearing and Gary ended up coming, correct?
he did.
And he testified, right?
Yes.
And you gave some testimony, correct?
Yes.
And what happened was the judge kind of called a timeout, right?
I don't remember a timeout.
At some point, she wanted to speak to counsel. Is that right?
I'm sorry. I don't remember that part of her.
Oh my goodness. I totally forgot. Gary Cohen did go into family court in front of Judge Hobbs and testify.
Called a timeout, right?
I don't remember a timeout.
At some point, she wanted to speak to counsel. Is that right?
I'm sorry, I don't remember that part of her speaking to counsel.
Do you remember the judge making some comments about the children hadn't been harmed and since he hadn't pulled out their toenails?
I do remember the toenail comment. Yes.
So she wasn't leaning towards relocation, correct?
No.
Okay, so even though you had a
Okay, I apologize. I want to go back for a second. Jackie Fulford said that Gary Cohen came and testified for her job opportunity.
I don't remember a timeout.
at some point she wanted to speak to counsel, is that right?
Okay.
Have you had an opportunity to review that?
Yes,
So you went into this hearing and Gary ended up coming, correct?
he did.
And he testified, right?
Yes.
And you gave some testimony, correct?
Yes.
And what happened was the judge kind of called a timeout, right?
So she just admitted that Gary came into town and then Gary testified. I apologize. I had forgotten that Gary testified. I actually thought that he came into town and then was not allowed to testify. But, but that, I mean, that even, oh, Lordy mercy, that makes him even a bigger liar, in my opinion, based on the evidence and this testimony.
I don't remember a timeout.
At some point she wanted to speak to counsel, is that right?
I'm sorry, I don't remember that part of her speaking to counsel.
Do you remember the judge making some comments about the children hadn't been harmed and since he hadn't pulled out their toenails?
I do remember the toenail comment. Yes.
So she wasn't leaning towards relocation, correct?
No.
Okay, so even though you had other witnesses, you didn't proceed with the hearing, right?
Well, I think we had the hearing and the judge decided.
You didn't call all your witnesses, did you?
I don't remember.
If you look at the order, it says order on wife's petition to relocate with the minor children. And then it says what the court orders and adjudges. The court does not find that the wife has met her burden.
Wait, oh my goodness. Jackie Fulford just said, did you call any witnesses? And she said, I don't remember. Hello, we just heard that Gary Cohen was one of your witnesses. Fibbers, what is happening here?
If you look at the order, it says order on wife's petition to relocate with the minor children. And then it says what the court orders and adjudges. The court does not find that the wife has met her burden of proof that a relocation is in the best interest of the minor children. You see that?
Yes, number one.
Yes. And your mother actually stayed outside for the testimony of that hearing with your dad, correct?
I don't remember, but I remember asking her to stay outside if she was going to testify.
Okay.
Yeah, Donna and Harvey were in the hallway.
And you came outside at some point and told your parents that relocation was denied, correct?
Correct.
And it's after this hearing, when relocation is denied, that those truly ugly emails that your mother wrote were written by her, correct?
Yes.
May I approach? Actually, if you'd keep that for a second.
Okay.
Once the final judgment was entered, the issue of relocation was over, right?
Yes.
Relocation from July 31st of 2013 until the time that Mr. Markel was murdered was never an issue again, was it?
It was never an issue from the day it was decided on July 31st, 2013. That's when it ended.
Certainly after the final judgment, correct?
Yes.
And that's the end of the discussion about relocation, right?
Yes.
No more plans. plans about how to get relocation, that the issue's decided, correct?
It was decided.
Okay, that was hilarious. Yep. I'm sorry. Muted for a minute. Hang on.
Yes.
No more plans about how to get relocation, that the issue's decided, correct?
Okay, so Jackie Fulford is about to go after Wendy in regards to the relocation being squashed in court. Wendy stipulated to it. Donna was not, well, allegedly was not aware that Wendy stipulated to it. Jackie Fulford is doing her job trying to defend Donna. However, if you are involved in any type of plan to murder another person and then that other person is murdered, aka Dan Markel, you're involved in the planning parts. You're still equally responsible for the murder. Jackie's going after Wendy right here because Donna didn't know that Wendy stipulated to the relocation being squashed in family court.
Correct?
It was decided.
And I apologize for my lack of YouTuber
Ms. Adelson,
prof-
if you look at that
professionalism.
order that's entered by the court, besides saying it's denied, it says something pretty important, and I think the state pointed this out in its open.
I apologize for my lack of YouTuber professionalism. I'm a regular person. I'm not a, yeah. I've actually been doing very well, but it happens at times. I apologize. And thank you all for being here.
Ms. Adelson, if you look at that order that's entered by the court, besides saying it's denied, it says something pretty important, and I think the state pointed this out in its opening. It says that this denial is with prejudice
Yes, ma'am.
of the wife's petition for request to relocate with the minor children. And you're a lawyer, so you know that with prejudice means this is done. This topic in this divorce is over.
Yes, with prejudice means it's a final decision of the court.
But what it says right before that is, as such, the parties stipulate to the denial with prejudice of the wife's petition. You see that?
Yes, I do.
So what happened is as after the judge says, if their toenails haven't been pulled out, I'm not thinking relocation, you actually
Oh, this is hilarious. Go, Jackie Fulford. Go, girl. Not only was the relocation ordered with prejudice, Wendy stipulated to it. It means she agreed to it. Donna didn't know. It still does not mean that Donna is not guilty of the things that she was found guilty of. It just means that the master manipulator is not who a lot of people think it is. It's the unindicted co-conspirator, in my opinion, based on the evidence.
denial with prejudice of the wife's petition. You see that?
Yes, I do.
So what happened is as after the judge says, if their toenails haven't been pulled out, I'm not thinking relocation, you actually stipulated to denial with prejudice, right?
Yes.
You did not tell your parents that you stipulated to denial with prejudice, did you?
I don't remember any conversation there, really.
So not knowing that it was denied with prejudice, your mother thought you still had an opportunity to get it up through your final hearing, right?
I believe so.
And so she kept writing these ugly things and giving you all of these ugly suggestions, right?
She did write those emails.
If you had told her you stipulated with prejudice, that's probably not what you wanted, Mom, but that would have been the end of it, right?
My specialty is zucchini bread, John. Just kidding. But okay, Jackie goes after Wendy here because she's trying to defend Donna. I'll bet you Donna was like, and I mean, she's probably, peeing her pants right now. Like, oh my gosh, how dare you hurt my baby? How dare you hurt my baby girl that we've all protected you. Remember the jail call?
I don't know. I would just be guessing.
May I approach?
You may.
Well, if you'd just be guessing, after she thought it was finally over on July the 31st, there were no more emails suggesting you do things like she suggested between the hearing date on June the 20th and the final hearing on July the 31st, did she?
Can you help me? What is the question?
So sure. So your mother doesn't know when you get out of the hearing on June the 20th that you've stipulated that this is a forever decision. So she writes these ugly emails, right?
She may not have understood that it was a final decision of the court.
It was a decision of the court because you stipulated to it, Ms. Adelson, didn't you?
I did stipulate to
And
it.
she didn't know it. She thought you had up until the final hearing. So she's marching along, trying to come up with more suggestions of how you can pressure Danny and get him to agree for you to relocate, even though you know it's dead, right?
I knew that it was a final decision.
And after July the 31st, when she thought it was a final decision, she wrote no more.
I understand what you're saying. Even about having knowledge, but I think arm and fence, we're talking about her orchestrating everything. She knew what buttons to push with her mother. She planned it. Who knew Dan Markel's schedule? This one is something else. That's just my opinion. No. I'm going to answer Leslie. No. I mean, she might have discussed some strategy, but I mean, Jackie Fulford and Zellman, we always call them Zelford. They came out of the gate blaming Charlie and Wendy. This is a part about Jackie going after Wendy. Of course, we didn't get to see Charlie witness or like as a witness, but that's the plan. Tally Gal, thank you so much for being here. Rosie, you're back? Okay. Blue River is back. Yeah, Zelford. Okay. Did not mean to click on that one. All right. Just a few more minutes to go on Jackie Fulford going after this one in defense of Donna Adelson.
No more emails suggesting you do these crazy things to still try and get relocation, did she?
I don't remember the dates of the email, but
And you
guessing
testified
no.
when you got up, when the state was asking you questions, after you said your mother hated Danny at the time that he was killed, which you clarified now that she was mad at him, not that she hated him. You testified you hated him at the time he was killed, right?
I don't remember testifying to that.
Well, then we'll need to take a break, Judge. May
Do you have
we
any
approach?
questions for the witness?
I do. May we approach?
Please approach.
That's when Jackie gets pissy. I believe it's the end of Jackie's examination. That was kind of funny. Let's go back.
Find
Hang
now
on.
that she was mad.
I'm gonna slow it down because we're gonna end soon, but I want to slow it to 1.
At him, not that she hated him. You testified you hated him at the time he was killed, right?
I don't remember testifying to that.
Well, then we'll need to take a break, Judge. May
Do you have
we
any
approach?
questions for the witness?
I do. May we approach?
Please approach.
We have all the people in the background right here. Let's watch this for a second. I think we're almost done.
The bailiff will take you to the jury room.
Okay, everyone. We are done with the cross-examination. We will continue at some other point in time. I've been on for a good amount of time. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for being here. And until next time, this is True Crime Wifey. Justice for Dan Markel, full justice for Dan Markel, until the unindicted co-conspirators are under the jail. People with free speech will keep fighting. Good night.